Welcome to Fabulous Feasts. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Fabulous Feasts is all about empowerment. It's about empowering you to make good food choices. You can choose foods that are going to boost your immunity, to reduce inflammation, and to improve and maintain your health, or not. It is that simple. Fabulous Feasts, we talk about anti-inflammatory foods. We talk about immune-boosting foods. We talk about how you can, again, maintain and restore your health by what you eat. Lifestyle is huge, and at the pyramid or base of that pyramid of lifestyle is diet and nutrition. And that's what Fabulous Feasts is all about. Goes back to what Hippocrates said thousands of years ago, let medicine be thy food and let food be thy medicine. Well, that's what Fabulous Feasts is all about. Today's show is going to be fun. It's going to be some fresh tuna. We're going to make it Asian style. And I just got this from a guy who just caught it and said, hey, Doc, you want some fresh tuna? I just caught it. And, local, fisherman, not a professional, sport fisherman, and he's sealed. I don't even know what type of cut's in here. So we're going to do a reveal on the tuna. We're going to make that Asian style because tuna, you can't go wrong Asian style. We're going to pair that with some Delicata squash, which is what I happen to have in the house also. So I think those will go well together. And then we're going to have a nice salad. And then for dessert, we're going to make a apple parfait. A hot apple parfait. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great show, and you're going to learn some good stuff about the food choices that you make to help empower you to make those good choices. So tuna doesn't take long at all. Delicata squash is going to take a solid 30 minutes, so let's get this in. I've already washed it. The great thing about Delicata squash is that when you eat it, you don't have to peel it. And it has a nice sweet flavor. So I'm going to trim the ends. I'm going to do my best to slice it right down the middle. Try to make it even halves, because then it'll cook evenly. And if you, a little bit of skills, now it'll fit nicely in the pan. If anybody's still got those grapefruit spoons at home, this is a good time to use it, okay? It helps get the seeds right out of the squash, so easy. So you could use a regular spoon, but again, I don't eat section grapefruit like I used to. That used to be real common, but now you just kind of peel it and eat it like an orange. And I leave those little bit of hairs in there, membrane in there, just scoops it right out, scoops it right out. Guess what? You can roast these in the oven, these seeds. Rinse them off, put them in the oven, 350 degrees, doesn't take long. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. And you have, you can salt them. You can add wasabi powder to them. You can add cayenne powder to them. And you got, it's the same thing as pumpkin seeds, but you can eat the whole thing. You don't have to shell them. You just throw the whole seed in your mouth. Pumpkin seeds, you can do the same thing, okay? So we're going to just put that right in the toaster oven. Why? Because it fits and I don't have to heat up the whole house. That's why. This is how I would make this dish, at home, this whole thing, because I am home. So let's put this off to the side. Now, tuna. Let's see what we have here. I have no idea. So I'm going to open it up. It's vacuum sealed, which is nice. This guy clearly fishes quite a bit. Looks like we have a couple of nice loins there. A nice tuna loin here. Another tuna loin. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Ah. Beautiful piece of fish. We got another piece over here. All right, so we want these all to cook relatively evenly. I think what we're going to do today, let's cook these two loins today. If I was going to cook this piece with it, I'd just slice it in half. And I think they would all be about the same thickness and cook all about the same. That's the key. I will cook it today. I just don't know if it's all going to fit in the pan, so we're going to cook the 2 loins first. And I'm going to leave them actually just whole, so I'm going to take this one. Let me grab a bowl and put it over here. Kind of like being on Chopped, right? Open up the basket, see what you got. All right. So let's take a little bit of salt and just salt the tuna a little bit. Not too much. A little bit on this side. Great. Got a pan over here. We're going to need the lid. Let's get some olive oil in the pan. We want the pan hot. So that looks pretty good. Let's get that pan going. Not smoking hot, but we want the pan hot because we want to get a little sear on the tuna. So it's going to make a little bit of a mess. Now, people talk about wild-caught fish, and they're concerned about pesticides. They're concerned about mercury. They're concerned about the water it lives in. If you're eating a lot of fish that is only grown for a year or two, salmon, mackerel, cod, haddock, those aren't fish that live as long as tuna, as long as swordfish. Don't worry about it. All right, they're not alive long enough for toxins to really build up in their system. So it's really not a concern. Swordfish, tuna, yeah, they can live longer. They can live years and years and years. So it is a little bit more of a concern. But if you're eating it occasionally, during tuna season, you're getting it fresh like this, don't worry about it. If you have any concerns that your environment might be exposing you to heavy metals, the best test for that is what we call a hair analysis. But again, the water quality's been so much better lately, and it's really not a major concern. All right, so you're gonna need another pair of tongs. Oil is almost shimmering. When it just gets a little bit hotter, we're gonna put the chicken. We're going to put the tuna in. So tuna's a good choice. It's high in omega-3s. Wild-caught fish is great. But even farm-raised salmon is okay because it's high in omega-3s because they have to let the seawater go through the pens. So that's fine. So there we go. Nice, get a good sizzle. We're going to just let that get a nice little bit of a brown on each side. We're going to have to flip it continuously. And then we're going to add some seasonings to it. But right now, I just want to get a little sear on it. As I was saying a moment ago, the oil, the fats in the fish are very important. Tuna's high in omega-3s, salmon's high in omega-3s, and wild-caught, you can't go wrong. Farm-raised salmon is okay. What do you have to stay away from? You have to stay away from farm-raised fish that are grown in pens. Tilapia, it's grown in a pen, it's farm-raised. Also happens to be a bottom feeder. You are what you eat eats. So if you're buying a farm-raised fish or meat or anything, where is its source? Where is it from? Is it from China? Is it from Taiwan? Is it from Canada? Is it from Norway? And then ask yourself, well, what are the best practices of that country? Is that country known to be diligent in hygiene? Is it known to be diligent in its food quality? Or is that country not known for that? Or you don't know? Just because it says, organic from Kazakhstan, not to throw Kazakhstan under the bus, just to pick a random country. I don't know anything about the farming practices in Kazakhstan. They might be immaculate. They may not be immaculate. So that's what you have to ask yourself. Because if they're not immaculate, you may not want to buy food that's raised in that area. Nice little sear. So you can see getting a little bit of sear on the meat there, on the fish fillet. And, you know, this is fresh fish. You just saw this is the way I received it. So we're going to sear it on all sides. And then what goes good with tuna? We know ginger, soy, garlic all go good with tuna. And now I'm even going to throw in a little bit of white wine in there just to give it a little bit of extra boost, because you know, white wine and tuna go well together also. Now, I'm not going to use soy though. I'm going to use something called Bragg's Aminos. It has that same texture, color, and flavor as soy or tamari. There's no gluten, there's no wheat, and guess what? There's no salt. I don't know how they do it, but it gives you the same flavor profile as tamari, but it all has amino acids in it. You can get it in any store, and it's a great alternative if you want to be low salt or if you want to be gluten-free and you still want that soy type of flavor. Tamari is another good choice. It's a little more powerful. That's not quite cooked yet in flavor than soy. Now, I just tried to flip one of these tuna fillets and it was sticking. That's because it hasn't finished searing. That tells me it's got to leave it alone. Don't touch it. Once it gets a good sear on it, it should lift off nicely and flip. So, see that one flipped nicely. Now I want to get this edge right there. And there it comes. All right? Then we'll get this edge. Good. So once we get that other edge, they're all seared around, we're going to start to add our flavors to it. Our soy, our ginger, and our garlic. And then we're going to let that cook a little bit, and then we're going to start looking at what else we can pair that with to make it a little bit more interesting. Fish is a good choice. You got to have protein every day. How much protein do you need? Well, it depends on your lifestyle, but you know, your average person needs at least a half a gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, just in everyday life. And then if you're working out and you're going to the gym and you're training, you might need a gram to a gram and a half or more of protein every day to help sustain your muscle mass, your bone mass. You need that to stay healthy and strong. So is protein the only thing you need? No. You need fat and you need carbohydrate as well. The key is to maintain a nice level blood sugar, and protein helps with that. Fiber helps with that. Excuse me, by maintaining a nice level blood sugar, it helps to also keep your energy level going. See, nice little crust. Good. You don't get those dips in energy. Excellent. So we seared off the tuna. I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic. Now look, I just got the tuna as a gift. I wasn't prepared. I don't have fresh ginger in the house. So I have a tablespoon of ginger powder. I'm going to put in. Here are my 2 tablespoons of tamari or Bragg's Amino. Cover it. I'm going to bring it down now to a low flame. Not that low. I had a funny feeling that was going to happen. Very low flame. Good. We're just going to let that simmer. I'm going to add a touch of white wine. A couple of tablespoons of white wine. Dry white wine will be fine. Okay? Put that right in. Now, this is the biggest decision I'm going to have to make with this dish, is how long am I going to let it absorb those flavors in almost steam. I could leave it and almost let it poach itself, and it would be poached in the aminos, soy, garlic, white wine, and it would be cooked through like a poached fish. Or I could probably turn it off right now and have that center just barely warm and pink. Depends on how you like it. The biggest challenge in my house is not everybody likes it a little pink in the middle and just barely cooked through. So that's where I get the, Dad, can I have it? Oh, can I have it? So you have to decide what you're going to do. But traditionally, it's served with a little bit of pink in the middle. We're going to top that with some fresh rosemary, some fresh parsley and cilantro. A little bit heavier on the cilantro than the parsley. Chop that up, put that in at the end, and just let that settle in and let the flavors meld together. The herbs, when you put them at the end, they'll pop. And that's what I want. I want that pop of the cilantro and of the parsley. So we're going to put them in at the very end. If you're and it really helps to keep the fresh herbs in the house if you can. Now, I was lucky. I had both of these. If I didn't have them, it's not going to make a big difference in the dish. Just put it on like that. I'm just going to let that sit for a moment. So while that's sitting, we're going to get ready to plate up our salad. And I'm going to be able to leave the greens on my cutting board. Basic romaine salad's going to go with this. Real simple. Have a carrot. Let's shred some carrot in here. You know, carrots we know are good. They're high in beta carotene, a good antioxidant, great for your eyes. Beta carotene is a good immune booster. Look, everybody, viruses have been around for thousands of years. Viruses are never going to go away, guys. So, you know, eat lots of colored foods to boost your immune system. So we're just going to shred that in. That'll give us a little bit of, and I'm going to add some fresh dill for a little extra flavor. And it'll go very well with the Asian style of the tuna. And then in a couple of minutes, the Delicata squash will be up, and we'll be able to plate it all together with our apples. Now, at this point of the show, my regular viewers are probably saying, your outfit looks a little bit different, Doc. I see you got your sleeves rolled up, but I can't put my finger on it. There's something else that's going on. Well, yeah, you're right. There's something else that's going on. I've been in the kitchen all day. This is not my first show today. It's not my first rodeo. And I've been prepping and cooking, and I feel it. You know, I get back pain like everybody else. So what I'm wearing is what's called a TSLO. It's a support brace that supports my lower back and my upper back at the same time. These straps pull me down so I stay here. Everybody who's been coming to our office with neck and back pain, we treat it all the time. Tech neck, rounded shoulders, postural imbalances, we treat it all the time. And we're all about strengthening the muscles that hold you here. But when you're bent over the sink, when you're bent over a lot, sometimes you just get sore, all right? When I'm on the computer for 4 or 5 hours, I'll wear this for a couple hours a day. And what it does is it pulls me back, stabilizes my core. It's got a little pump thing here that I can pump, and it pushes this bladder right against my weak area in my back to help get me straight. So that's why I'm wearing this. It works great. And do I wear it all the time? No. Occasionally you might see me wear it in the office if I'm having a day where I just feel like I can't get straight, all right? But a lot of times I'll give these to patients to wear 1 or 2 hours a day. That's all, especially if you're like this all the time. The key is to strengthen your posture. The key is to teach you how to get into sagittal plane alignment, how to get here, give you the exercises to hold at that. But it's okay to wear a brace and a support as needed. It's okay to ask me about your vitamins and minerals. It's okay to say, hey, can you help me with this exercise? It's okay to say, you know, I think I need an adjustment in my back and my hip and my neck. It's okay to ask. So it's okay to wear this. You can't live in a vacuum, so to speak. So anyway, that's what's going on there. I'm back in uniform. So, tuna. There it is. We're just going to put olive oil and vinegar on that. And we're going to plate it up right here. Take a little bit of that sauce, just put it right over the top. Bingo. And for, actually we'll need that. And then for presentation purposes, a little sprig of parsley on the side. And there we go. Tuna, Asian style. That looks really great. That looks really great. Let's see how the cooking came out. Okay, that's the way my wife likes it, cooked through. All right? That's just the way she likes it, okay? So, if you want it, that flesh to be still cool and pink in the middle, just don't leave it on the stove like it did. Don't talk when you cook. Oh, great. And you get that soy flavor with the Bragg's aminos without it being soy. So, let's put those over there. Let's go on to our last dish. Our apples. Whoops, excuse me. Let's put a dab of butter. We're going to take 3 apples, peel them, and then just kind of slice them into 1/4-inch thick slices and put them into the pan. This is a lower heat pan. And then we're just going to let them get started. Now I could have prepped this ahead of time and kept the apples in a lemon water so they don't turn brown. But then I would have had more sweetener, more sugar. And I'm trying to do this with all natural. So that's why I'm peeling it real time. So who knows the answer to the question about is the apple skin good for you? So the answer is, if it's an organic apple, the apple skin's good. You want it. High in pectin, good for your intestinal health. The bacteria in your stomach like that. But even in this dish, it would be ideal to have the skin off, just because you want it nice and soft, because we're going to put it over yogurt. Just slice these babies up. Turn our heat on the low side. These burners are on hot. There we go. So let's slice up this last apple here. Trying to avoid the core, just working around it. Thin slices. Butter's just melted, which is perfect. Hey, how did a core get in there? On top of that, we're going to add some cinnamon, about a teaspoon, maybe an 1/8 teaspoon of allspice. This is apple juice that's condensed down. I took 2 cups of apple juice and I condensed it down to just over a cup. I'm sorry, 2 cups down to 1/2 cup. So we want that strong apple flavor without I don't need all that solution, all that water. I'm going to cover this and let it just simmer till the apples break down. And then we're going to put it over some homemade yogurt. And in the meantime, let's check the Delicata squash. Perfect. It's nice and soft. Fork, go right through it. So the squash is done. Does not take long. And we didn't add anything to it, and it's going to be perfect, just like this. We can plate that up. I know the apples aren't done yet, so we're just going to let them go a little bit longer. Then we're going to plate the apples over some yogurt and put a little walnuts on it. So I'm going to slice this up, and then we'll plate up the apples. Got the Delicata squash all sliced up. It's all prepped. Apples are just perfect. We can put the hot lid over here. I have some homemade yogurt. I use whole milk, grass-fed. Why grass-fed? Because we are what we eat eats, right? Grass-fed. is going to be better fatty acids. It's going to be higher in those omega-3 fatty acids, anti-inflammatory. Some of these apples go right over the top. Get that syrup, which was just apple juice that I condensed from 2 cups to a 1/4 cup with cinnamon and allspice. You want them sweeter, you can make it sweeter, but again, embrace the bitter, embrace tart things, get away from super sweet stuff. And there we go. There's your hot apple parfait. So, it's been a great day to have you here for Fabulous Feasts. Fresh tuna, courtesy of Mike. We appreciate it. A gift. Paired that with a romaine lettuce salad with dill and fresh carrots. The Delicata squash. One of the best things about it, it's still pretty hot, is that you can eat it skin and all. You can season it or just eat it plain. But against the tuna, plain is perfect. And our dessert or even breakfast would be yogurt with our apples that are hot and toasty, making it a really good hot parfait. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio talking about health, wellness, diet, and posture. Because your posture is important. Be aware of it, address it, learn how to correct it, and do the right exercises to improve your physical health while you improve your biochemical health with diet and foods. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk a little bit about bracing and supports. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. They come in 3 different varieties, whether it's your knee, your ankle, your neck, or your back. They come flexible, totally flexible. Gives you some compression, doesn't give you any real support. It may feel good, prevents swelling, but doesn't prevent motion or protect the joint. Next is semi-rigid. Again, we have a knee, and the semi-rigid has some sort of brace in it to prevent some movement, but it also moves. So that's one step up. Beyond that, you would have rigid. I'm wearing a rigid brace for my full spine, which is a posture correction brace. So when I pull these tabs, watch what happens. Boom, locks me right in tall, strong posture. This limits motion. This is a posture correction brace. Now, by wearing this, does it make me weak? No. Think of the Olympic weightlifter who wears a low back belt when he trains. Is he getting weak? No. This enables me to have good, tall, strong posture while I'm moving, while I'm doing things. Combining this with exercise will help you get stronger. Now, the same thing with the neck. We have soft collars or we have rigid collars if somebody needs to work on posture in their neck, if they need to work on offloading the discs. Let's take a look at the lower back. They can be flexible, like this one, gives you compression but no real support. The little stay in here does nothing. Or it can be rigid, like this one. This is a brace. This will limit movement, okay? That'll lock you in. But what if you need a semi-rigid low back? You don't need as much control, but you need protection. We take the rigid panel off, and it leaves us with the low profile, semi-rigid brace that'll lock you in, offload the discs, and offload the nerves. So that's your primer on bracing, whether it's the neck, whether it's the low back, or your full spine, or even your ankle or knee. You can choose from flexible, semi-rigid, or a true brace. Let us pick the right one for you, and we'll make sure you have the right exercises to stay healthy at the same time. Have a great day. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio.